stuff, loads of people blessed with out of terrible singing, collection of quickly booked the chances, loads of light, noise, and no noise. It was so there we were all sitting around, and right next to me was a cousin of mine, and opposite to us sat my grandmother and my aunt. Because technically my father's aunt, if I bought her, but I'm supposed to bought her relation-wise, she might never talk to me. Typical idiots. No offense to anyone here. So, they were talking about all sorts of stuff and somehow ended up talking about another cousin of mine. She wasn't carried out that time, but wasn't attending the wedding because of some reasons, and my aunt decided to question my grandmother about it. She's a bit insecure about the thing. She's laughing, said my grandmother. I was stunned, and unfortunately, I'm not gumptious enough to stand up against her. And also, I did not want to create a scene girl, so I just took a deep breath, tried to calm myself. My grandmother wanted to push my buttons, I guess, so she started to elaborate on her answer. Thankfully, my mother jumped in and said, no, she isn't insecure about his skin color. I did that as a kid. But the time you on my mind to start lecturing about my grandmother and my aunt about how that was not just racist, but also completely unfactual. She must have been insecure a long time back, but not right now, not ever since I have seen her, and definitely not now. The crux of this problem is that whenever I see my aunt, she accuses me of scolding her. What was I supposed to do? Scold just my grandmother? I might be getting into, as my friends refer, my bad girl era, but it is quite difficult to be straight up disrespectful to people, alright? Unfortunately, that is not something most of my relatives can relate to. I have been the youngest in my family for so long, which basically puts me in the position of a baby in most, if not all, family settings. And the bullying I had to endure. Right now, I'm part of this amazing friend group. Few of them were supposed to be here, but unfortunately, they are late. And even though it hurts, I bully them. And also, on a side note, I'm one of the oldest among us, which makes me so happy after all these years being the youngest. The problem is that they are my friends, no relatives of any kind. So, when I bully them, they bully back. Friendly feud. And for some reason, today's kids are as tall as skyscrapers. There's a literal 16-year-old child in our group who is nearly 6 feet tall. You know how embarrassing that is? I feel sorry and hurt for my cousin sister, who is being called a dwarf by my own brothers. Imagine being 29 years of age and someone we have literally watched grow up, grow taller than you, and then call you a dwarf. It hurts, really. So, all in all, my life is plagued with people with biased mindsets and sees bullying the younger as love language, which is one of the main reasons why I started writing. Besides for the love of my art, for the love of art, of course. I write as a way to raise my voice against this prejudiced mindset people hold. Who am I? It is a question with answers as vast as the sea. I'm a writer, a reader, a designer, a learner. I'm also a sister, a daughter, a friend, a niece, an aunt. It all depends on whom you ask the question. My friends might refer to me as the therapist of the group. My brothers might say I'm a bit crazy, but tolerable, hopefully. My parents will say I'm a very promising young writer. Oh, I said that. So, none of you can call them liars because if you do, you will be calling someone a liar because they told you that the sky is pink. Because the sky can be pink, but so it can be yellow, orange, red, blue definitely. We are whole or tied to nature in that way. We do have different facades for different events and people in our lives. So in short, I'm Shivangi Mayans, 18 years of age, and a girl who loves learning and experiencing new things. But there's more to me, like there's to all of us. Let us discover our complexities together in this journey. Thank you. Woo.
At 18, I was sent to the principal's office for breaking the fan in my class because we were all standing there playing cricket. And here comes Toastmaster Shivangi at 18, delivering a wonderfully crafted speech centered around the theme of acceptance and finally tying back to her purpose of being a good writer. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. So the objective of today's speech was for the speaker to introduce herself to the audience. Did she meet those objectives? Absolutely she did. So what worked well for Toastmaster Shivangi's speech? Firstly, I love how she came onto the stage and set up the stage for the audience in the beginning with interactivity. So she came and said, do you know how I went to Kerala for my cousin's wedding? And keeping this audience in mind, I feel most of the audience would have immediately related to this scene. So it's a good awareness of the audience that she was catering to. Number two, body language in certain areas were very admirable. So when she sighed and said, the bullying that I endured, and then she just removed her glasses and flicked a tear. That was beautiful. And finally, I loved how she connected the aspect of insecurity on account of bullying to her love for reading and writing. So the overall theme connected to her journey as a writer. So this helped the audience feel the love that she has for the craft and also the motivation that she had for taking it up. Now, what could she have improved? So like any good food, a tinge of spice would have just taken it to another level. Number one, I would have loved if the speaker had used voice to convey certain emotions and situations. So for instance, desperation and irritation. What was I supposed to do? Scold my grandmother? Or, you know how these weddings are? It's just like, let the audience relate to your frustration. Number two, use the pitch of your voice to convey intensity. So I personally felt the speaker's entire speech was mostly on one pitch. So, for example, today's kids are like skyscrapers. So this brings out and fleshes out the humor in the speech. Or loud music. So to convey the pitch of the music through the speaker's voice. Be one with the elements of your speech. And finally, to challenge the speaker, what I would recommend is have a stronger call to action. For an icebreaker speech, it was a good ending. She said, let us connect through our differences and complexities. What I would have loved is if the speaker could have ended with an actionable statement. How do we develop that sense of acceptance? So to summarize, I love how the speaker set the stage in the beginning, had admirable body language in certain areas, and connected the theme of her speech to her journey. What I would have loved is if the speaker could have used voice to convey emotions and situations, used pitch to convey intensity, and had a stronger call to action. Once we take the first step in this journey, multitude of pathways open up to us. So Toastmaster Shivangi has taken the first step in her journey through this speech, and I see her only going onward and upward from here.